You should see the other guy. How's everybody doing? All right. Can you see me okay? There we go. Now you can. Nebraska, thanks for having me out here. I learned you are some crazy people. Very tough, very brave. I mean, a lot of people say that I'm tough, what I've been through. I'm a little crazy from what I've been through. But when I got here yesterday, I was wearing burnt orange. And you people were still crazy enough to come up to me, about 20 of you, throughout the day. You know we don't wear that color around here. The problem is, in Texas, if we wear red, we have to run from the bulls all day. But I apologize. I don't want to get beat up after this tonight. Jumped outside. There, now your shirt's red and full of blood. But I was watching news, and then I realized, you know, you got some crazy people. Besides being tough. Who's the guy with the DUI and the zebra and the parrot? My guess is he's from Wahoo! I saw that in the news last night. They're doing that weather report. Wahoo! And that's all I can picture is a bunch of guys in trucks with mullets running around. Woo! That'd be great if I was from Wahoo. Anybody here from Wahoo? Good. I would be doing that. I would love it. Imagine basic training. Come here, Private. Where are you from? Wahoo! Great. Instead, I tell them from the Bay Area. Oh, San Francisco? No, I had to go through that whole thing. There's one. There. Does that? Not the second one didn't count there because I was saying there was one. We got a judge here. He's going to count that word tonight. Make sure I don't mess up. Eagle eye on me. Before that one, you can count as two. I want to share this with you before I start talking about me, which I really love to do. The other day, I have my son moving in with me, and I had to move my office around and move some stuff to make some room for work. And I found this book, and it was just amazing. It was one of those aha moments that gave me the chills. When I found this, I didn't even know I had it. It's The Right to Movement. It's a collection of quotations for living an inspired life. I didn't know I had this book, and I pulled it out, and at the first page I read, this is what it said. It said, your mind, your spirit, and your open heart are the essence of what the world needs. You are the one who will stitch together the quilt of the nation, mending the tears and frayed edges brought by war and terror. You are the one who will add your quilt squares with the gifts that flow through you to help others. You will use the knowledge that you have learned, the deep friendships, the caring mentoring of others, the wisdom of inquiry, and you will transform the world. That hit me hard. Like, wow, they gave me the chills. Like, that's what I feel I'm meant to kind of do and share my story and help others. And I thought that was kind of selfish of me. It's not just me. This is for all of us. All of us have been affected by war and terror one way or another. This is about you, and you. We all can make a difference in this world. One person can do so much. Roosevelt said, do what you can with what you have, where you are. Such a simple rule in life that we can all use in many different ways. In your personal life, in business. There's so many ways to help others, to give, and there's so many little ways and different things that you can do to make a difference by applying those rules for yourself and others around you. I just thought that was really great, you know, what he said, Roosevelt said in that book, and it all just came together and just made so much sense to me. I want to share that with you guys. Because when you hear my story tonight, that's what I like to do. I like to think of my story like a song. You know, you listen to music. The person who wrote it meant one thing. You may hear it, but you're going to take something from it that relates to you. You know, and you're going to take something different from that song that relates to you. We all, and that's what we love about music, besides the good beat. You know, when you can't understand the lyrics of a good song, you take that and you own that song in your own way. And when I share my story tonight, if there's anything you relate to that you can take from that for you, that's what it's about. About sharing my stories. That everybody should share their stories to the person next to you. When you're sitting on the bus, you're in the elevator, we need to talk about each other. And you share that story, because you just never know who you're standing next to. I mean, if you saw that guy with all the medals of honors from all these wars, and I mean that, you had no idea. You know, what's wrong with this old man that's taking up his time in line? That's what you probably think. We get in a rush these days. So you just got to take your time. You never know who it is. Now myself, I grew up a Navy brat in California. At 17, I wasn't doing anything. I was doing something. I was a cool roller skating DJ. I drove a Mustang and I wore a mullet. So I was doing something. But my uncle, who was 4 years older than me, maybe 6, I don't know, he was like a big brother to me. He wasn't doing anything either. He came to me and he said, hey, we need to do something in our lives. Let's go in the Army together. It's all right, let's do it. Let's do it. We went and took the test. He failed the test. I went ahead and still went in. Then about 19. Does count as Is that okay?
You're good.
I'm good. At 19, I went to Desert Storm. At 19 for about a month when I went to Desert Storm. And then over there, I had a great time. If you've already seen the movie Jarhead, just like that, really boring in Desert Storm. We got really good at volleyball. I thought about changing my career. Playing Top Gun. Playing the board. Oh, Tom Cruise. No one wanted to be Goose. You knew what happened at the end of that one. But when I first went in the Army, my mother wouldn't let me go airborne. I wanted to jump out of planes, because all my family was Navy. And I had one uncle that went airborne, and he was 18. His chute ended up tangling up at Fort Bragg on a jump, and he ended up drowning. So my mother had these superstitions. She didn't want me to go airborne. I've been 18 and all that stuff. So I made a deal with her. If she quit smoking, I wouldn't go airborne. My mother is still trying to quit smoking. But I went airborne this time. She couldn't stop me. But after I got out of Desert Storm, I didn't warn you guys that I speak ADD, did I? See, that's what happens. I do speak ADD. It's kind of like drawing a star. You know, you start here, you go here, you go here, you go here, you go here. Eventually at the end, oh, I get it, it's a star. That's kind of how I talk. But see, where was I at the start? Here, here, or here? I was going here. That's right. I got out of Desert Storm. I got out of the Army. And I didn't want anything to do. I was done. I did my time. I was proud of what I did. But it's time to move on to the next part of life, next chapter. At that time, that's when I met my wife. My daughter Brittany was a year and a half when I met her. We now have 4 kids, his, hers, and ours. Typical military family. We had a great life living in California. Things were going great. I always kept trying to go back in the Army. But she wouldn't let me. She wanted to marry to any type of uniform, police officer, military. She had an idea. She'd never been around it, but she had an idea what her lifestyle was like. She didn't want to really do that. So what happened is, about a month before 9/11, I finally talked her into it, because that September I was turning 30 years old, and she thought I was going to be too old. So I started talking to a recruiter. He was working on some paperwork. That morning when 9/11 happened, first thing my wife said to me is, you can still change your mind now, right? You don't have to go in. But I knew on that day, I really had to go in. I knew from my service before as a young man in the military, I had a lot more to give. For my country, for those young troops that were going out there, I can kind of help guide them to what they're about to enter and what they're about to experience. I still have the ability to do that. I'm going to do that. So I went back in. I went airborne. This is my crazy mother who wouldn't let me play football as a kid. One that signed me up for the Army at 17. I still called her every time I jumped, because I'm a big mama's boy. And I do now today, I still skydive, but when I skydive, I just text her. But what she doesn't know is I text her before the jump. She has no idea. And what happens if I didn't make it? She can't be mad at me. When I came back in, I had to start from scratch. I had to start from a private again and work my way up. I did 3 more tours. In '03, after I went back to basic training and everything, I went out there. And a lot of people ask me, they want to know, what it's like for the military, the service member out there with the family back home. How do we deal with that stuff? When we see movies, we see the gunfights and stuff like that. But you don't really portray what's really going on in that soldier who's worried about home. How does he complete his mission? What I would do is I would write stuff down. All these questions, something's going on back home. Like in 2003, my youngest daughter was having a hard time. She didn't understand why I left her. She felt abandoned. She was having accidents in her pants. She saw and they got it out. A child psychologist. And she was having a lot of issues, and that bothered me. But I couldn't do anything about it. And I couldn't sit there worrying about it, stressing out, because if I went on a mission and I'm worried about my daughter back home, I'm putting my life and everybody else's life in danger. So what I would do is just scribble it all down. And then eventually, somehow, a poem would come out of it. And I share that with you guys. I like to share my poems that I wrote out there, because it tells you exactly what was going through my head, the words from there, and not me trying to explain it exactly now. You'll hear the words from there. And so I really like to read that. And I know the guys are a little disappointed right now. Like, oh my God, we want to hear the war stories. This is like Twilight with the zombie version. Thank you. I titled it, Why? Why can't I be there? Is the question in her mind. How can I explain war to a 4-year-old? Is the answer I cannot find. My baby feels abandoned. Rightfully, this makes her mad. Thoughts of this brings me to tears. Today, I'm feeling sad. I dream of her sitting next to me, her tiny hand on my thigh. She looks up at me and says, it's okay. She wipes a tear from my eye. Why can't I be there? Precious moments are passing by. Her pale skin and jet black hair. An alligator tear falls from her eye. I nearly lost my life yesterday. Tomorrow, she turns 5. It was either him or me. I must fight to stay alive. If I don't make it home, how will her mother explain? If I never hold her again, how do you heal that pain? How to explain war to a child that freedom is not free, and a year apart from daddy is worth a sacrifice for you and me. In every deployment, there's always something, going on. You know why you're going to be gone for a year and nothing. Everything's great back home. Although your wife won't tell you everything and you won't tell her everything because you don't want them worrying even more than they already are. But I got back. That was 3 ums, wasn't it? 4? She's one of the clickers. It was like behind the plate. Just teasing. But then I did that tour and I did 12 months. I came back. About 6 months later, I went to Fort Carson, moved the whole family out to Colorado. And out there, I was there 3 months, shipped off again, did another 13 months. Now during that tour, the thing that was bothering me the most was my daughter Brittany. She was graduating 8th grade, starting high school. I'm going to miss all this stuff. Now that I'm older and my youngest one's a teenager going through that right now, wasn't so bad missing that. Teenage girls, obviously you guys know what I'm talking about. But at the time it was bothering me. So again, guys, bear with me. This one's a little better. I wrote a poem about that. It's titled, I Won't Be There. I won't be there when she goes on her first date. I won't be there to tell them not to be late. I won't be there to warn her of the thoughts in his head. I won't be there to warn him to behave, or he'll be dead. I won't be there at the end of 8th grade to see her graduate. Again, you better behave on each and every day. I won't be there on her first day of high school. It seems like just yesterday she would smile and drool. I won't be there for another year of her life. Again, this is a part of freedoms our families must sacrifice. Thank you. And I always mention the families, and I think it's great. We've got to really emphasize, and a lot of you know, a lot of military here, how important the family is for us to be able to do what we do, and the support we get from them. But after that tour, came back, 3 months later, we moved back to Fort Bragg. I was there about 6 months, deployed again in '07. And I did things different this time. Most deployments, I'd hand my wife the checkbook, say, good luck, hon, see you in a year. Not a problem. This time I made sure money was different. I got a better running car. I told her I felt something was different, that I might be gambling. My fourth time, I'm always on the road. Something didn't feel right.